If you are new to YouTube, then you're going to want to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. I'm going to share with you 10 things that are definitely going to help you out on this massive and sometimes confusing video platform called YouTube. And by the way, you'll want to pay special attention to the last thing I'm going to tell you, because if you don't already know about it, it can be an absolute game changer. And regardless of where you are on your YouTube journey, if you have questions about YouTube or content creation, go down and leave a comment below. I read every single question and comment, and I reply to as many of them as possible. And when this video is over, I'm going to go down there and carry on this conversation and answer your questions.
Number 1.
Now, I've talked about this one in previous videos, but it's so important. I felt like I need to bring it up again because I really need you to understand the importance of it. And that's, don't get caught up with gear and gadgets. Start with whatever you have right now. If that's a phone, start with your phone. If it's an old video camera, start with an old video camera. You can upgrade along the way as you need to, but the most important thing is to start. And I can assure you that whatever message that you're trying to share or the story that you're telling is way, way, way more important than any piece of gear that you will ever own. And I promise you that, and your future self is gonna thank you if you get started today. And I know that right now you're probably thinking, yeah, but D, my video quality is horrible and I don't have any lights at all, my room echoes. And that might be, but the important thing is you just have to get started, because you have to learn how to edit. You have to learn how to make thumbnails. You have to learn how to tell a good story. There's a lot to learn. And believe me when I say this, it doesn't matter what you start with now, because when you get further down the road on your YouTube journey, you're gonna look back at your very first videos and you're going to cringe. It doesn't matter if you have the best gear or the worst gear, you're gonna say, oh, I can't believe I did that. So just get started. Trust me on this one. If you don't listen to anything else I say ever again, listen to that.
Number 2.
The internet can sometimes be a strange place, and a lot of people think that if they find something on the internet, they can download it and use it any way they want. Well, that's not the case, especially at YouTube. In fact, you can get your channel deleted for using content that isn't yours. That includes music that's not yours, images that are not yours, and video clips that are not yours. If you didn't pay for or license or get permission to use the content that you're putting in your video, don't use it. And you're probably thinking right now, well, yeah, D, but my favorite YouTuber, he does this all the time. He uses songs from the Beastie Boys and movie clips. It's just 3 or 4 seconds. Well, look, they might be able to get away with it because they've got 10 million subscribers, but at any time, they could also have those videos taken offline because of it. The bottom line is, if it's not yours, do not use it. Don't take the risk, because if you get 3 strikes, you're out. They will terminate your channel. So it's just not worth it. I'm gonna put links down in the description below, places you can get music, places you can get videos, places where you can legally get content to put into your videos. It's just not worth taking the risk to use somebody else's content just because somebody else is getting away with it for the time being. So if you don't own it, don't use it.
Number 3.
Don't wait for anything or anybody, and don't even ask permission unless you're under the age of 18. Then you gotta ask your mom or dad. Make a plan, stay focused, and just start creating content. It is a long, long road that you're gonna travel, so get started. The sooner, the better. And there's nobody in the entire universe who can stop you but you. Well, maybe Thanos.
Number 4.
Learn the rules of cinematography and photography and then break them. Don't be afraid to get creative, explore, think outside the box, do things that you might think are weird or maybe unusual, because that's what's gonna help you stand apart. You know that internal dialogue that you have with yourself every day? Well, you need to funnel that into your creativity, because that's what makes you you. The weird stuff, the good stuff, all of that is what makes it you. And even though you might think you have a boring life or nobody's interested in you, that's just your perspective. Tell your story. You'll be surprised who's interested.
Number 5.
Do not, please do not, go into people's comments and beg for shout outs. Don't beg for them to look at your channel. Hey, look at me, look at me. Don't do that. That's gonna identify you as somebody that they're probably not gonna wanna look at. If you wanna get a creator's attention, you wanna go down to the comment area, look at the conversation that's already taken place, and see how you can add value to that conversation. Watch their video, leave comments about things that are in the video, leave real meaningful comments. That will get their attention, and I guarantee you, hey, check out my channel, hey, subscribe to me, hey, give me a shout out, bro. Look, that stuff isn't gonna work ever. Never, ever, ever is that gonna work. In fact, a lot of creators add some of those words like sub for sub or shout out into their comment filter. So when you leave those comments, you automatically get moved to the spam box and nobody's even gonna see them. So honestly, just don't even waste your time. And between you and me, the #1 way to not get a shout out is to ask for a shout out.
Number 6.
And that brings us right to community. I cannot stress enough the importance of getting involved in various YouTube communities. There's Facebook groups, there's Discords you can join, there's Google Plus groups, and I'm gonna put links in the description below to some of them. The important thing is you become part of that. Meet people, talk with people, share with people, look for collabs that you can do with people, ask questions, help others. Just find a community and become a part of it, because it's not always what you know. A lot of times it's also who you know. Now, I shouldn't even have to say this, and I'm not talking to you, I'm actually talking to that guy over there behind you, but when you're part of the community, don't be needy. Make sure it's a give and take relationship with the community, and don't be an asshole. That's right, I said it, don't be an asshole. And if you don't know what that is, an asshole is somebody who always asks questions, but never does anything with the information that's given to them. So you don't want to be that person.
Number 7.
Have patience. YouTube is a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's gonna take a long time. You've got a lot of skills to learn, so slow down and learn the skills. You wanna get better? Make more videos. You wanna make better thumbnails? Practice making more thumbnails. Watch tutorials. YouTube is full of awesome tutorials from tons of creators. You know, when you're sitting on the toilet and you're mindlessly scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, well, you could be watching tutorials or making thumbnails, right? And I didn't even mention analytics in that one, so you've got your hand full. Just know that it's gonna take a while, so pace yourself and don't expect miracles overnight.
Number 8.
Now let's talk about sub for sub. And if you're new to YouTube, sub for sub means subscriber for subscriber. And on the surface, it looks like a good idea. I'm gonna join your channel and you join my channel. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I'm gonna tell you what probably will go wrong. And the first thing you're gonna notice is your subscriber count to view count is way out of whack, because people are joining your channel, but they're not interested in your content. They're not watching your videos. And yeah, I know there's a lot of people say, hey, sub me and I'll sub you and I promise I'll watch your videos. Well, this is where it goes from bad to worse. So not only is your view count to subscriber ratio gonna be out of whack, so now you have people who might come in and watch 10 or 15 seconds of your video. Well, what's wrong with that, you might ask? Well, I'm gonna tell you. So they're watching 10 to 15 seconds of your video, maybe 20 seconds of your video, and maybe your video is 5 or 10 minutes long. Well, that triggers the YouTube algorithm and it says, hey, people aren't watching this video, but only for a few seconds, so it's not a good video. So then YouTube is not going to suggest you to other people. Now, of course, that's not the only thing that YouTube is looking at when it suggests you out to other people. It's looking at your thumbnails to see if you have a high click-through ratio. It's looking at your engagement. It's looking at your watch time. And when those people come in and they just watch 10 seconds or 15 seconds, that is killing your watch time. So while on one hand you say, hey, I got a subscriber, what you're actually doing is shooting yourself in the foot, because you are murdering your watch time and pretty much just killing your video. So unless you want all of that to happen and worse, and I'm about to get to the worst, don't go around and ask for sub, because it really is not gonna help you. So now that you understand why it's a bad idea to run around asking for sub, if you're doing it in the YouTube comments, let me show you how it can go from bad to worse. And one way that can happen is if you're copying and pasting, hey, sub for sub, well, first of all, a lot of that's gonna go into the spam filter, but a lot of that's gonna get marked as spam by the creators, and if too many creators mark you as spam, guess who's going to lose their YouTube channel? Now, a lot of people ask for sub because they really don't know that it could hurt them, but today you know, so I'm gonna trust that you're not gonna do it anymore. And if you do it, don't be shocked and upset if it blows up in your face and you end up losing your channel. And yes, losing your channel is on the extreme side, but if you're seen as posting spam comments too much, that is how you can lose your channel. So don't get caught up in the sub for sub trap, because it's not gonna work out the way you think it's gonna work out.
Number 9.
And that brings us right along to another one that's gonna piggyback on that one, and that's don't get caught up in your subscriber number. Because if your plan on YouTube, if your goal is to grow, then you need to focus on views. You need to focus on watch time. You need to focus on engagement. That means thumbs up, thumbs down, people leaving comments. You need to focus on making good thumbnails that are getting a high click-through ratio. Those are all the things that are gonna please the YouTube algorithm. So focus on those first if you want growth, and don't worry about the subscriber count. That's gonna come later if you fire on all cylinders and get those other things working in your favor. So if you're sitting at home and wondering, why isn't my channel growing? I'm stuck in the mud. Well, you're probably not doing one or all of those things correctly. So you need to go in your analytics and look at audience retention. You need to look at your click-through ratio for your thumbnail. You need to look at your engagement. All of those things is what pleases the YouTube algorithm, which means they're gonna suggest you out to other people. And if you're not doing those things, they're not gonna suggest you to anyone.
Number 10.
Now, if you've stuck around this far and you've watched everything up to this point, I do thank you, I appreciate it. And I'm gonna leave you with the best tip, what I believe is the best tip of the entire video. Now, you know when you get something new, it comes with instructions, right? And what do most people do when they get instructions? they throw them away. Well, you don't want to throw these instructions away. And the instructions come in the form of the YouTube Creator Academy. It's a free course. It's a free video series that YouTube created for creators. It's basically YouTube's instruction manual for you to use YouTube. So if you go through the YouTube Creator Academy, I promise you that all of your questions will be answered, every single one of them. They go over stats, they go over content creation, any possible question that you could ever have about YouTube. It's in the YouTube instruction manual, which is the YouTube Creator Academy. And I'm gonna put a link to that down in the description below. And when you're finished watching this video, go down and leave a comment. Let me know what problems you might be having with YouTube, and I'm gonna answer them. And then I want you to go over to the YouTube Creator Academy, sign up to that. It is free. Go through the course. It's gonna take you a while, and it's always evolving. So this is the one instruction manual you want to pay attention to if you wanna be successful on YouTube. And those are my tips for new YouTube creators. I do hope that you found them helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, followed by the notification bell so you don't miss anything and you can continue to learn how to master your mobile. And I will see you in the next video.